everyone, welcome to our next live event. I'm Molly from Target Transfers, the leading supplier of heat printing machines and materials in the UK. Today we are going to be talking about the importance of having a quality heat press, and investing in the right heat press can really make all the difference for the quality and longevity of your products. So we're going to be talking about how to make sure your press is correctly set up to create a perfect application and all of the features that you need on your heat press for longevity in the business. As part of the Stahls Hotronix group, manufacturers of the world's leading heat presses and inventors of many of the leading functions you find on your heat presses today, we are really pleased to bring you a special correspondence from the Hotronix factory in Pennsylvania, USA. We're going to be joined by Josh Ellsworth, who has prepared a video for us on our Hotronix versus import presses. Following that, we will be back here in the Heat Printing Innovation Centre, where we'll run through how to set up your press correctly and, of course, to print some heat transfers. We're obviously here with the Hotronix Auto Open Press, which I will be using to show you how to apply one of our custom heat transfers later in the video. But for now, we'll hand over to Josh in the US to talk all about the difference in quality heat presses.
With Stahls, and I'm here to talk to you about a quality heat press investment. Hundreds of thousands of businesses invest in a heat press every year. The problem is they're often investing in the wrong type of press, which creates results that aren't quality and that's putting them out of business. So today what I'd like to talk to you about is the Hotronix heat press. This is a machine that's manufactured in the USA, and I'd like to compare the feature set of this press and the results that that will deliver to your business versus an import machine that's really going to leave you out of business sooner than later. So with that, let's walk in and see the differences. So there's a lot of technical terms that go into the manufacturing of a heat press platen, but the main thing is you want it flat to ensure it's delivering accurate pressure across all parts of the lower surface. First check is let's make sure this upper platen is flat. Hold a straight edge from corner to corner across the machine, and you should see no gaps between the edge of the ruler and the top of the heating element. Now let's do that same test on the inexpensive machine that was imported. You can see the gap that's showing between the straight edge from the corners and towards the center left of the machine. We're seeing a distance in there, and on light pressure applications, that means that it's not going to be even, and you're going to have issues with that area of the print. Since we're on the topic of pressure, I'd like to point out another big difference. This machine has the pressure adjustment at the back of the press. Now that's okay, it allows it to adjust the pressure up and down, but it creates a major issue for application that we call pinching, and you don't get even pressure from the center out. So when you lock this machine down, you'll see at the back of the machine, it's actually meeting down before the front of the machine meets down, which causes application issues, especially on thicker items when you want to sublimate or do some different decoration techniques. Now, differently than that, Hotronix innovated and patented this feature of the over-center pressure adjustment, so you get even pressure flowing from the center out, but also the upper flotational platen. So when you're locking it down, the platen actually levels out before it makes contact with your garment or item, creating accurate heat applications every time. With a good understanding of pressure, the next thing I'd like to talk about is temperature and what the machine is actually reading versus what it's achieving. And then we're actually going to cut open one of these heating elements to show you the difference with how they're made and what's inside. But let me grab my digital thermometer, and you'll see we have the Hotronix heat press set for 340 degrees. And if I hold my digital thermometer up against the platen and give it time to come up to temperature, it's reading 336 degrees. So within 3 to 5 degrees of what's on the control board. And there's a couple reasons why, but the point is it's accurate. Let's go over to our import press, which is reading at 340 degrees on the control board. Let's hold the same digital thermometer to the same location on the press, and we can see it reading nearly 100-degree variance. That's going to cause major issues when your customers wash garments that have been pressed on this machine, and I bet they won't be coming back to order more. So we've talked a lot about the accuracy of the machine and the quality of the results that you can produce. Now I'd like to actually talk about the longevity of the machine and its framework and then also how you load the machine and what you can make with it. So when you look at the Hotronix machine, we see all laser cut steel framework, and we see nice clean robotic welds. So you get a nice durable high quality machine, and that's covered with a 5-year warranty. When we look at the import machine, we don't see a laser cut framework. We see a piece that's been hand welded together, which can create longevity issues over time. And so you'll see the warranty on these machines typically reflect that, and you're encouraged to throw these away every year and replace it with a new machine. So when you consider the life of the press and how long this one's going to last you, you're actually going to get a lot more for your money in addition to the quality results. After that, we need to consider what can I actually make with the press. This particular press, you can see, is flat on the table. There's no ability to change out the lower platen to split your items and to thread them on. And that's going to create further pressure issues when you start to get seams on here, talk about pressing items like left chest logos on polos like I'm wearing, or bags, those sorts of things. With the Hotronix machine, we have the quick load cantilever design where you just open up, change out the attachment, load an appropriate size, and then you can split your item and thread it on. So you're going to be able to grow with this machine and print more items, which will generate more sales opportunities for your business. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more at the end about some of the extra Hotronix features that you don't get on an import press, but I'm anxious to get this heater cut apart so I can show you the difference in the element and the RTD probe. Okay, so now that we got the heating elements cut apart, we're able to look inside of the top heater and see the difference. So when you look at the Hotronix heating element, you can see it has the element cast into the top heater. And so when we put a ruler up against that, we get a much thicker heater, which is going to retain the heat and be a better build in between applications so you're not losing temperature. So this one's 3/4 of an inch thick. When we look at the import press, it's pretty thin. We're only talking about a 1/4 inch thick, which is going to create problems when you're heat pressing a lot of shirts, shirt after shirt. The other difference we see is when we look at the actual element itself, on the Hotronix you have the element spaced and it's cast in here so it's tough to see, but it's every 1.5 inches apart. So this is the actual piece that goes inside of the element for whatever size that it is. They're 1.5 inches apart, which gives you even heat on all areas of the top platen. Here, this one's actually not bad. They're spaced 2 inches apart, so not as good as the Hotronix, but often on these inexpensive import presses, you see this is where it gets a little bit, you compromise on not only the thickness with how it retains heat, but you often see these elements in a Z pattern or extra distance apart, creating cold spots on the machine, creating further issues with application. Now, the other big thing I want to point out that we found when we opened this up was where it's actually measuring temperature from. So it looks like this one is actually measuring from a screw that's into the platen and reading the temperature back to the control board, whereas the Hotronix has an RTD probe that actually has a location in each element where the probe reaches all the way down right behind the surface of where the element is meeting the garment, giving you an accurate temperature readout, and we saw it to the degree accuracy when we did the test with the digital temperature thermometer. So all in all, you're getting a much better, not only element spacing, but a better heater altogether, which is why we give a lifetime warranty on these heaters. So hopefully you're starting to see the difference between a high quality US made Hotronix machine versus this inexpensive import press. Now I want to show you a couple additional features on this Hotronix auto open clamp before we conclude, but first I need to clear some space. And I consider this saving one business from a bad heat press investment. Let's put this press where it belongs and show you the last features on the Hotronix. The two additional features on this machine that don't have a comparable on any other press are the automatic opening. So when I lock the machine down, it counts down to 0 and it opens, allowing me to multitask as an operator. And the digital pressure readout, which means when I lock the machine down, it actually reads a pressure number from 0 to 9 that can be adjusted when you adjust the over-center pressure adjustment up or down. By having that digital pressure readout along with the digital time and temperature, it takes the guesswork out of the application. So when you think about it, a heat press is a big investment into the future of your apparel decorating business. And I firmly believe that Hotronix presses measure time, temperature, and pressure better than any other press on the market, delivering quality results for your business time after time.
Great, thanks so much, Josh. We really appreciate you filming that behind the scenes look at the Hotronix factory and taking us through a little bit of a more in-depth look at the differences between the heat presses. Before we move on to the application side of things, does anyone watching have any questions for Josh that we can answer now before we move on? No? Okay, brilliant. So I'm here with the machine that Josh used in that video, the Hotronix Auto Open Heat Press, and I'm going to show you how to make sure your press is correctly set up for the right application. So one of the biggest mistakes that we find people make is over-pressurizing their machines. So it should be really easy to pull this down, lock it in, and it will be on a medium pressure, which is what you're looking for our Ultra and screen printed heat transfers. And of course, our favourite feature, the Auto Open. So I'll just show you how easy that was again. So you can pull it down with 2 fingers and lock it in. That's how easy it should be. You shouldn't have to put body weight behind it. It shouldn't be difficult to close. It should be as simple as that. These machines have been precision engineered to press all day long, so let them do the hard work for you or any of your team that are using them. And because the Auto Open comes with a pressure readout, there's no excuse for over-pressurizing your heat press. This can also damage your transfers as well as your press and the garments. If you're over-pressurizing, the transfers won't apply properly. You'll most likely scorch or mark your garments as well as damaging the heat press. So pressure is one of the main important things to get right when fusing with application. There is a digital readout here, which you can't see on the camera, but there was a close-up from Josh's video. And it will say a number between 1 and 9. And ideally between 4 and 6 is a medium pressure on a Hotronix press that you want to be aiming for. Ours is on 4 at the moment. So now I have showed you how to set up your pressure correctly. We're going to show you how to get the perfect time and temperature. So on the digital readout, there's a mode button in the middle, which you press, and you can change and go up and down. And there's also the dual timer on this press as well. So you can set your pre-press settings as well as your actual transfer settings. So we recommend a 5-second pre-press before you apply the transfer, just of the garment, to remove any creases or moisture, so that when you go to apply your transfer, there's a nice smooth flat surface ready for it. And then the transfer settings, so for screen printed is 10 seconds and for Ultra is 12. So now we're going to fuse a heat transfer. So firstly, I'm just going to load my garment. This is just a plain sweatshirt. So load this onto the heat press. As you can see, complete threadability there as well. That's something. There we go. So that's all it takes to pre-press a garment, and it's now ready for the transfer. We're going to be fusing our screen printed heat transfers today. So this is 2 on a gang sheet, but we've cut one out ready. So this is just a black screen printed heat transfer. Place onto the garment. We are using release paper to cover the transfer. This is to protect not only the transfer, but also the press, so that none of the ink or anything, if it does come out, will get onto your pattern. So it just keeps it nice and clean for longer. And also the release paper helps prevent an early peel on the carrier, because obviously our transfers are cold peel. So when the press comes up, if the transfer starts to lift slightly, that could damage the adhesive. So we recommend using release paper just to give it a bit of extra precaution. Okay. So 10 seconds at 160 degrees for our screen printed heat transfers. Okay. Now I'm just going to really carefully move this garment off of this press because it's hot and obviously we want the transfer to cool down. I'm going to place it onto this one. Just to let that transfer cool down so that when we peel it, there's no damage to the design. So it's important to note that all of the transfers have been designed to fuse at very specific time, temperature and pressure. So it is vital that you don't try to take shortcuts when fusing your transfers, such as lowering the time, increasing the temperature to get through your work quicker. You won't be able to get a perfect fuse. The quality of the transfer won't come out the same. The longevity, it won't last 60 plus washes. So just make sure to follow the instructions to the dot when you are fusing your transfers. Okay, so this is now ready to peel. So just in one swift motion, pull the carrier off. And there you have your finished garment. So just plain black on this one, on a mint green, and it's got a nice, soft, thin finish. And there you have it. That's how simple it is to decorate a garment for your clothing business. If you've never used heat transfers before, don't worry. Custom heat transfers are a really easy and affordable way to decorate garments to make a profit, as we've just explained and demonstrated here. They're used to get a really soft, thin finish that feels like part of the garment. So when your customers are wearing them, it doesn't feel like something's been stuck on. It feels really soft and natural. With heat transfer designs, you can achieve very vibrant colours as well as this black and plain white options. We have neons and metallic finishes available for our screen printed heat transfers at no extra cost. So when you're uploading your designs onto EasyView, you can really easily select the neon and metallic inks you'd like us to use, and we will just print them in your design for no extra charge. So we know you expect a simplified ordering process for transfers. So with EasyView is the easiest way to upload your design and the only place in the UK where everything is done via our online system. So just log on to EasyView, select your transfer type, upload the artwork, adjust it on the screen. Some people like to add more than one design and gang up a sheet and save on the costs and the profits. And then you just place your order for how many you want, and they'll be with you within 2 days ready to fuse, and you'll be able to produce garments just like this with our heat transfers. So I think that's everything we wanted to cover today. Has anybody got any questions before we wrap up this video? How do I know which transfer to use? Okay, so if you are using, if your design, has between 1 and 5 block colours, then it would be a screen printed transfer like the one that we've used today. So single colours, no fading, no gradient, just simple. And you get the best price point between 1 and 5 as well. So anything that goes above 5 colours, or if you have gradients in your design, then we recommend that's when you switch over to our ultra colour transfers, which are the full colour water-based transfers. And that means that you can get however many colours you like. It's unlimited. They have the full tones and gradients. You can get the real nice faded effect across the design in the colours. You can also have photorealistic finish. So we've had some customers do really, really great photorealistic designs recently, really, really detailed. And they've come out brilliantly. So yes, 1 to 5 block colours is screen, and anything more than that or any colour gradients is ultra colour. Okay, we've got a question from Ian. White ink on the transfer is very hard to see through. Have you got any tips to help with accurate alignment? So we do actually have, I'm assuming you mean in terms of when you're placing the transfer down on the paper and you can't see how it's going to come out on the print. So with that, we would recommend, obviously, we can either pre-cut them for you so that if you're ordering a gang sheet, you're not having to cut them out and guess which way it is. So that way they're completely cut square. And then we also have the laser alignment portable tool, which you can buy with any heat press. It will just sit on your equipment cart next to it, and you can adjust the lasers as to where you want the lines to be. So every single time you place a garment onto the press, all you have to do is make sure the transfer is within the laser lines that you've preset, and it will be accurate every single time. If you're looking for some more tips and tricks on design and placement in the meantime, we do have an ebook available on our website, which we will drop in the comments section after the video. So you can go and download that for free, have a look at the tips and tricks that ourselves and Stahls Hotronix offer in there as well. So hopefully that'll help. If not, do feel free to contact our customer service team and they'll help you out as well. Do you have any more? We do. We had a delivery was it this week or last week? Andy, this week? This week of all of the heat presses. So we are completely fully stocked with every single press. So if you are looking to get one, get yours now, because I'm pretty sure they're going to fly out the door very quickly. They're very popular. The Auto Open has definitely been one of our best sellers for the last few months. I think with startup businesses and side hustles, everybody's keen to get the Auto Open press so that they don't have to think about when to lift the press up or over scorching garments or anything like that. So yes, definitely take a look on our website. Everything is in stock at the moment. Question from Richard. I've just bought a power platen from you, but not used it yet, so I don't scorch my hoodies. I'm not too sure as to how long and what temperature to use. So correct me if I'm wrong on this, Andy, but I believe that when using power platens, you decrease the temperature of the top heat platen. So rather than fusing at 160, you drop it to maybe 110 roughly. And then obviously the heat from the power platen underneath, which would be at the 160 that we recommend fusing the screen at, that's normal time. Okay. So the normal time and temperature of the bottom platen, the heat will come through the power platen. So really all you're doing is removing heat from the top of the heat press platen so that when you pull it down, the heat from the application comes from the bottom. So give it a go. We have a lot of demonstration videos on our YouTube channel. If you're struggling, do get in touch, but it is once you plug it in and get it going, it's fairly easy. Great way. Power platen's a great way to eliminate scorch marks. We've had a lot of success with them, so let us know how you get on with it. What is the stand the press is on? Okay, so this stand is the caddy stand. We have two stands available for the heat presses. So obviously to make the Auto Open threadable, you either have the caddy stand, which this is on, which goes to the floor and you can move it around. It has wheels on the bottom of its feet and it brings it up to user height as well. So I believe it's adjustable, isn't it? Yes, it is adjustable. So whoever's using it, no matter how tall they are, you can adjust it so it's in the right position so that they don't sort of overstrain themselves when using the press. And then we also have the counter caddy stand, which goes on, for example, an equipment cart, and you just put it on whatever surface area you're using, and that makes the heat press threadable as well. So we have both options available on the website and in stock at the moment as well. But this one that we're using here is the counter caddy, the caddy stand, sorry. How much do transfers cost? So all of our pricing is custom to your order. So we don't overcharge you. We do everything specific to your order. So depending on whether you're using screen or ultra, the size of your order, how many you want, all of that is worked out custom. So if you go onto our EasyView website, you can upload your artwork and get a quote for that specific order that you're doing as well. So there'll be a link to EasyView in the description as well. Okay, I think that's all of the questions that we've got for today. Thank you everyone very much for joining us. If you have any further questions or queries that you'd like to get in touch with, don't hesitate to either send us a direct message on any of our social channels or drop an email to info@targettransfers.com and our team will be more than happy to help you. Please like and share this video as well to support our channel, and we will see you in our next live video.